Good afternoon. Everybody hear me okay? Thank you for being here. Purpose of the press conference today is to talk about an arrest of a 23-year-old male in connection with the fatal shooting of 20-year-old Jamaica Dowling. Before we get into the suspect's name and a kind of a recap of the investigation, I want to express on behalf of the police department our sorrow and condolences to Jamaica's mother, father, and family and friends. I know they're attending funeral arrangements and as we speak. I think what's really especially tragic about this incident is it's another life lost too soon. A young lady with her entire life ahead of her. What makes it especially tragic is she was an innocent person that was caught in what I would describe as a hail of gunfire. She was a victim of this gunfire that was perpetrated by people with no respect for human life and a complete disregard for their consequences. So we're very happy to announce the arrest of the person responsible for her death. His name is Kejon Boyce, B-O-Y-C-E. He's a 23-year-old African-American male from Colombia. He's charged with murder and possession of a firearm during a violent crime and is housed in the Alvin S. Glenn Detention Center. Also, according to other court documents, Mr. Boyce is out on bond currently for unlawful carrying of a weapon from a March 2021 incident in Spartanburg, South Carolina. There's going to be more arrests in this case. And I say that again with emphasis. There will be more arrests. To date, we have not received what I consider to be any material information that has helped us in the investigation. We have had some information come in, but that one citizen coming forward that witnessed something or heard something, that hasn't happened, and that is a troubling and consistent theme that we often talk about at these pressers. Now's the time to be forthcoming. What led to today's arrest was outstanding investigative work by a team of investigators that have worked countless hours reviewing video. It's as a result of the responding officers and the steps that they took to preserve evidence, attempt to preserve life, detain people, and again document some information from people that were fleeing and taking note of some of the vehicles that were leaving. Let me recap the incident. On Sunday, March 13th, around 1:45 a.m., Mr. Boyce was attending a party at 810 Pulaski Street, and that's Greene Crossing Apartments. The party was actually originally advertised on social media, and if you can pull that up, I'll show you a quick screenshot of what got this started. So this party was advertised on social media, indicating bring your own booze, gave the location, which that obviously opened the party up to not just friends, but anybody that might see the post. Because of what we know now, multiple people came to the party armed with firearms, handguns, and what I would describe as assault-style weapons. The officers arrived to gunfire and confusion, and I'm going to show you a brief video clip just to illustrate some of the chaos that the officers found when they arrived. Now, we stopped that video very quickly. What I will tell you is there was a lot of video available. And again, as I stated, our officers spent a lot of time reviewing that. So we are working tirelessly to identify individuals in the videos. And when I say that there will be more arrests, that's my point. It would be, I would encourage people to get ahead of this and come see us before we come see you. As you can see, the partygoers ran out of the apartment trying to get away from the volley of bullets from multiple shooters. That's a long hallway. We had people that went both directions. This was on an upper floor, so gunfire started in the apartment and people fled for their safety. As I mentioned, people were screaming. There's a lot of chaos. Vehicles were fleeing the parking lot trying to get away. Officers were able to stop, detain, and interview several people. One officer in particular found Miss Dowling injured in the hallway. She was conscious and alert at the time. The officer quickly applied a tourniquet that our officers carry and began applying in rendering aid, applying some treatment to her, despite the immediate dangers that were underway. He stayed with Miss Dowling until medical services arrived to assist. 4 other people were shot, a 22-year-old male, a 19-year-old male, and 2 16-year-old males. We believe the shooting stemmed from an argument, as I said, that started inside the apartment that was hosting. The team of investigators have combed through surveillance video that also captured the shooting in the hallway, and there was other shooting that occurred on the outside of the building. So in the apartment, in the hallway, and then outside. And my point I make with that is it was a running gun battle. We still need to identify people at the scene, those who witnessed the shooting or have information about others that possess firearms. We know people had small arms, and we also know that there were some assault-style weapons visible on video, so we know they were visible by people attending the party. The shooters were extremely brazen and comfortable in using their guns and being around guns, and that is, again, a disturbing trend that we see. This could have been a mass casualty incident. As you can see, the number of people, the indiscriminate gunfire, it could have easily been a mass casualty incident or an officer-involved shooting. As I said, as officers arrive, and there's still gunfire occurring. I don't know what it's going to take to shock the conscience of our community. This is right off of campus. This is a nice apartment building that has security measures in place. We also saw a trend here that we see within our student population, and when we talk about our student population, oftentimes we refer to them as young adults, and they are, but I would also say that they're kids. And, oftentimes with immaturity or, lack of life experiences, we're so trusting. And when I say that, this was a nice apartment building that, primarily housed students, it also had security measures in place. You need a code to get in the door. The doors stay locked, but what we see frequently, and what we saw here is there's measures that are put in place to defeat the security that's in place, whether we're sharing codes, sharing keys, holding doors open, or propping doors open. It allows access to anybody in these buildings. And then we have crimes. We have property crimes. We have sexual assaults. We have robberies. And then, you see what happened when you introduce guns into the mix. As I said, the officers arrived to, gunfire, and again, we have multiple people carrying guns. So far this year, there's been 14 police officers killed in the line of duty by gunfire. 105 have been shot. That's pretty staggering. So to recap, we're asking for our citizens to look at this video. We may be in a position to release even additional video. We ask for assistance in identifying those that are on the video, but I would implore anybody that was at the party or the parents of anybody at the party, because there was underage people at that party, that they bring their children forward and provide information that helps us hold people accountable for this type of behavior. We'd ask anybody that has any information, obviously, to call us or call Crime Stoppers at 188-CRIME-SC. I appreciate your attention, and I'll be glad to answer a few questions.
Is there any idea of what this incident kind of stemmed from? Was it an argument, a fight?
Right now, we believe it just stemmed from an argument. And I don't know what the argument was about, but I can tell you that the majority of our shootings are over ridiculous arguments. Somebody being disrespected on social media or disrespected, in a group of people. It's young people carrying guns and not giving a flip about what happens when they fire those guns.
Have y'all run the ballistics on the bullets?
Not yet.
So we don't know if any of the guns were stolen that were used?
No, we don't know that yet.
Handguns and assault rifles, you said?
We think,
Saw on video.
in the videos so far, we've seen handguns used and what we would describe as assault weapons.
One more quick thing. You described it as a running gun battle. Was that because you were running through the halls and outside, you said, or?
I described something as a running gun battle when people were running and firing guns.
So was it just inside or did it go outside?
It went outside too.
Do you know how many shooters?
More than one. We suspect multiple shooters, but that's still part of our investigation.
And as far as response to these apartment complexes, is this common that this happens, that there are these large parties that police then have to come and break up?
Well, we break up a lot of the large parties. We have not had what I consider to be a considerable history at this particular apartment complex, although we have broken up a party there before. There has been reports of parties, but it's not unusual for us to respond to an apartment, condominium, duplex, or just a residence where a student party is being hosted.
But the complexes like this that cater specifically to students?
This particular complex is primarily a student housing complex.
Will the residents of that apartment be held accountable on any level?
It's potentially, yes, sir.
And you said that, oh, sorry. The suspect, he was out on bond, you said, for unrelated incident. Did he have any other history of criminal past?
Not that we know of.
And can you spell his name for me, John?
I'm sorry?
The suspect's name, I know, spelled Boyd, but can you spell his first name for me, please?
Kejuan.
U-A-N?
UAN.
Thank you.
Any idea if he or any of the people that were shot were USC students?
No, they were not students. There was nobody that was hit by gunfire that was a USC student.
Was he from Spartanburg then, or was he from Columbia?
He's from Columbia.
So you don't believe any gang relation or affiliation had anything to do with it?
Well, we can't say that with certainty right now.
Is there any updated status on the 3 that were injured but not killed?
All non-life-threatening. We expect full recovery.
And estimate of how many people attended that party?
Well, you could probably guesstimate just as good as we can. Obviously, it was for an extended period of time. People, came and went, but, I would describe that probably as 50 to 75 that were fleeing from the scene.
Would you encourage people to have these kind of parties to not advertise them on social media just to avoid, underage drinking or any, obviously shootings, but underage drinking or any other problems that could hold them liable?
Well, I would encourage, we just had a violent crime, put down your gun, walk at Benedict College, and I had a moment to, speak to the students, and I heard some, very moving testimony from a mother that recently lost her young teenage daughter, and, she spoke to it, I spoke to it. You gotta know who you're with and pay attention to your surroundings and understand and, who you're letting in your vehicle, who you're letting in your apartment, who you're riding with. It's just making good decisions and, you know, and knowing the people that you're around and putting yourself, you know, in good, safe environments.
Can you speak a little bit about the frustrations of somebody like him who already was out for a gun charge, roaming the streets and harming innocent?
I mean, I can speak to my frustration again. You know, we do not hold people that, you know, illegally carry guns accountable. It's not something that, for whatever reason, seems to be important in this state. And, you know, we see young people all the time that have been arrested repeatedly for carrying guns, and there's just no consequence to it. Therefore, there's nothing that will deter them from, in fact, carrying a gun. Thank you.